This is Math 2, 10.7 notes. That's Math 2, Unit 10, Lesson 7. The title is Intercept Form. We've talked about vertex form and standard form. Right now, for today's lesson, we're going to talk about intercept form, which looks like this. Y equals A parentheses x minus p times x minus q. Okay, intercept form. This is the form where you are easily able to find your x-intercepts. All right, let's put that here. It's easy to find your x-intercepts, sometimes also called your zeros. Just know that means the same thing. They'll say find the zeros or find the solutions, find the x-intercepts. They all mean the same thing. And a reminder, how do we find x-intercepts? We make y equal to 0. How do we find x-intercepts? We make y equal to 0. Okay, we're going to go straight to examples. Find the x-intercepts and write your answers. Write your answer in as an ordered pair. Write your answer as ordered pairs. Okay, number 1. Y equals the quantity of x plus 4 times the quantity of x minus 2. Okay, this is intercept form because factored form is intercept form when it's in double bubble form or factored form. And what you're going to do is to find the, what is it asking us to find? The x-intercepts. And how do we find x-intercepts? We always make y equal to 0. 0 equals x plus 4, x minus 2. And then we use the zero product property, which means one of these must be 0. X plus 4 must equal 0. X minus 2 must equal 0. And we solve. Subtract the 4 from both sides. Add the 2 to both sides. X equals negative 4. X equals positive 2. Now, in the past, like just the last lesson, we did it like this. X equals negative 4, comma 2, and I kept emphasizing do not put parentheses. They are not ordered pairs. They're asking us to write our answers as ordered pairs. This is not an ordered pair. They are two separate x values. Negative 4, comma 0, 2, comma 0. Those are my two x-intercepts. Now, how did I know to put 0 for y? When I'm looking for an x-intercept, we've set this and set this. You make y equal to 0, so y is 0. I plugged in 0, and I found my corresponding x values. Y-intercepts, y's are always 0. Okay, now some kids would look at this and just say, oh, the opposite's negative 4, the opposite's positive 2. That's okay. If you can handle that and like it that way, that is fine. Some kids are hands-on. They like to actually do the work. It makes more sense to them to work it out. That is up to you. All right, for the first few, we're going to actually do all the work and work it through. Okay, zero product property. 3 factors, negative 3/5 equals 0, x minus 5 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. All right, negative 3/5 by itself cannot equal 0. There's no variable there. There's no x. So a number by itself, negative 3/5 by itself, is never going to equal 0. So that's not really going to have any impact on my answer. X minus 5 could, I'm going to add the 5, and that gives me 5, and that makes sense because right here 5 minus 5 would be 0, so x equals 5. Over here I'm going to add the 2. X equals 2. So again, we wrote our answers like this before, x equals 5 comma 2 with no parentheses because this is not an ordered pair, but if they ask you to write your answers as ordered pairs, they're two separate ordered pairs. What are your y values? 0. Now, in the beginning, my mistake, and I apologize, I just went straight into solving. Technically, I should have made the equation equal to 0, so I'm going to squeeze that in there. And my apologies if that confused anybody. If it didn't, we're good. Still know that I should have made it equal to 0. And we get our ordered pairs, 5, 0, 2, 0. Okay, so again, a number by itself, if that had been -3/5 x, say there was an x there with it, then you could divide and solve. But a number by itself has nothing to do with your intercepts. Okay, next piece, we're going to find the y-intercept, and we're also going to write as an ordered pair and how do we find y-intercepts? We make x equal to 0. We make x equal to 0. Okay, number 3, y equals the quantity of x plus 4 times the quantity of x minus 2. Okay, so not as easy as not this. We're not using zero product property because we're not looking for x-intercepts. We're looking for y-intercepts, slightly different. We plug in 0 for all of the x's. Do you guys see how that works? 0 plus 4 for the x, 0 minus 2 for the x, and then you just work it out. 0 plus 4 is 4, 0 minus 2 is -2, y equals -8. Ordered pair, be careful. Y is -8, not the x. The x, what did we plug in? 0. That there is your y-intercept. And yes, you will need to know how to find y-intercepts for the test. Okay, next one. Y equals -3/5 x minus 5 times x minus 2. And they're asking us for the y-intercept, so I make x equal to 0. Y equals -3/5, blank minus 5, blank minus 2, and what do I plug in the blanks? Where x used to be, I plug in the 0. And I'm going to work it out. -3/5, 0 minus 5 is -5, 0 minus 2 is -2. You can put these all like this and multiply 3 times 5 times 2. 3 times 5 is 15 times 2 is 30, and it's going to be a negative because a negative times a negative is positive, times another negative is a negative. All over 5 times 1 times 5 is 5, and that reduces to -6. As an ordered pair, remember this is the y, not the x. So -6 for the y, 0 for the x, and that is your y-intercept. Okay, moving along. Number 5, we are going to factor and sketch. Y equals x squared plus 2x minus 15, and we are going to find on this side the x-intercepts, the AOS, remember AOS stands for axis of symmetry. We're going to find the vertex. We are going to also find the y-intercepts, and we are going to sketch. Okay, so biggest key hint here is the word factor. A lot of kids miss it and they're like, I don't know what to do. It's not in vertex form. This is not the right form where you can say translate right, left, blah, 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 blah. This is standard form. Standard form, if you recall, is really nice to find the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is going to be easy for us to find because it is in standard form. Excuse me. If you wanted to, you could find the y-intercept first. Let's just do that. We'll do it right in here in this little bubble. Y-intercept we find by making x equal to 0. We just did that on the previous page. Only difference is the previous page was in factored form, x-intercept form, and this is standard form. Remember when I said you can do it in your head because 0 squared is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, minus 15. 0 plus 0 minus 15 is -15. Ordered pair, This is y, so it goes on the y side. We plugged in 0 for x, so 0, negative 15 is your y-intercept. A lot of kids won't even show this work. Again, some kids like it because it's visual, they write it down, it makes sense. Some kids with enough practice will look at it and say, oh, my y-intercept's negative 15, I'm done with that part of the problem. Okay, let's go ahead and find x-intercepts. X-intercepts, put a note here, we make y equal to 0. So 0 equals x squared plus 2x minus 15. And again, that key word up here was factor. 0 equals double bubble, x and x. I know it's going to be plus and minus. I'll give you guys a few seconds to try that on your own. Actually hit pause, try it on your own and play and see if we end up with the same numbers. I have positive 5 and negative 3. I'm not showing my check work, but I checked it. 5x and negative 3x gives me the 2x. Zero product property. X-intercepts, guys, is what we just did on this page right here, numbers 1 and 2 on the previous page. We take x plus 5 and make it equal to 0, x minus 3 and make it equal to 0, and solve each one. X equals negative 5, x equals 3, and we will have to write these intercepts as ordered pairs. This is x, so it's negative 5, comma, I plug 0 in for y. This is x, which is 3, comma, I plug 0 in for y. So see the difference in how I write my x-intercepts and my y-intercepts. Okay, we are going to stop here. We're going to talk about this when we get back in class, and we are going to sketch. So make sure you are ready to sketch. I'm going to go ahead and at least draw what it's going to look like here. Here's the x-axis and the y-axis. So we are going to fill it in, put all our numbers and everything else, and be ready for the graph. We'll finish this in class. That is it for this lesson.